Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Shelly MUJTABA, and I'm honored to be talking to you today about failure. But before we begin, a little bit about myself. I'm a Senior Director of Engineering at Autodesk, and I manage delivery of Autodesk Cloud Platform. I live in Chicago with my wife, 8-year-old son, and a poodle. But in my past life, I was an entrepreneur, just like many of you. And today I want to share what I learned in my journey, especially about the value of failure. So I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2006 with an IT asset management software called 3i. The purpose of the software was to allow easy management of all physical IT assets, such as laptops, printers, copiers, etc. 3i was a failure. But we learned a lot from this failure and also made some vital connections in the IT industry. The feedback we got from IT managers was that they had a lot of solutions in IT asset management, but what they did not have was a tool that will let them place equipment on an office floor plan so they can track its physical location. So we started investigating what options were available to do this, and realized that all the offerings required a desktop to manage location. While IT managers want something they could pull up on their tablets, that is a browser-based tool. The state of browser-based 2D drawing capabilities back in 2007 was very basic. And it was difficult because different browsers had different drawing techniques. So we created a technology that allows us to create 2D designs using the same interface for all different browsers: Chrome, Firefox, Safari, IE. We call this Project Draw. At that point, we realized that we had a tool which had a lot bigger applicability than just IT asset management. So we did another pivot to a general purpose computer-aided design. And suddenly we started getting lots of interested customers, all the way from real estate companies to clothing and uniform design. We also started getting interest from a number of big players in design space, including Autodesk. About a year later, we were acquired by Autodesk, and our product eventually became homeseller.com, which allows non-architects, engineers to design their spaces in a browser-based environment. So this journey had a happy ending, but none of it would have been possible without failures along the way. But don't take my word for this. Let's see what some very successful people have to say about failure. Here's Michael Jordan, one of the greatest NBA players of all time. I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And then there's Thomas Edison. Story goes that Edison and his team tried thousands of materials for light bulb filament before they finally found the right combination. While the team was still working on this project, a reporter asked Edison, "Isn't it a shame that with the tremendous amount of work you have done, you haven't been able to get any results?" Edison replied, "Results? Why, man, I've gotten a lot of results. I know several thousand things that won't work." Finally, you may have heard of these two guys, Bill Gates and Paul Allen. What you may not know is that before Microsoft, they had another startup called Trafodata, which was supposed to read raw data from roadway traffic counters and create reports for traffic engineers. They first tried to sell the processing service to a local county, but their first demo failed because the machine didn't work, recalled Gates. The venture was a limited success because, as Gates said, it was a good idea with a flawed business model. Municipalities in the United States are quite budget constrained, and it's hard to get them to make capital expenditures. In spite of this, Trafo data provided vital learnings for both Gates and Allen. So failure may be an essential ingredient for success, but it's still not easy to face the fact that we were wrong in our assumptions or our execution was not good enough. But there are tools which can help us navigate failure, learn from each failure, and grow stronger. Let's look at some of these tools. Network. When we were kids, we were not afraid of failure. We would just pick ourselves up and try again. In fact, trying new things and failing, and then trying again in a new way was part of the fun. Ever wonder why failure did not worry us back then? The supporting network was a big part of the reason why. Our parents, families, and friends all stood by us and encouraged us, and provided helpful suggestions and new ideas we could try. So why not build a network like that for yourself? As you're starting to think about who your network is, it will usually be a combination of family, friends, advisors, mentors, potential customers, but most importantly, other entrepreneurs. Pick people who will not just provide support, but also honest feedback. You could also color code people based on what type of support they provide. For example, encouragement when you're down, or connections, or advice. During our startup days, when my co-founder and I were down, we would reach out to our network to get some validation, but also some advice. Think about who can play these roles for you. Next, let's talk about confident humility. There's a thin line between arrogance and confidence. Adam Grant, author of Think Again, calls it confidence sweet spot. It is when you believe in your ability to achieve your goals, but you're uncertain if you have the right tools at present. Arrogance, on the other hand, leads us to be fully convinced of our ability and our strategy. This leads to blind spots and inability to seek help. As Adam points out, in studies of leadership effectiveness across the US and China, the most productive and innovative teams are run by leaders who are confident and humble. When I look back at our journey, we started with blind arrogance. We didn't understand the market, didn't have any connections in the industry, but we thought we could crack it because we were very good software engineers. But after our first failure, we went too far to the other end, where we started doubting not just our tools, but also our ability. Finally, we hit the sweet spot where we got comfortable in our ability to execute and acknowledge things we did not know. For example, we did not know much about the cat industry, so we started to seek help from our network and learn. If I could change one thing about our journey, I would have started with the list of things we did not know on day one. That would have saved us a lot of time and effort. So if failure is a vital ingredient of success, how about we build it into our cycles and iterate quickly so we can learn quickly? One mistake we made in our first venture was that we worked on a fully functioning product for almost a year before we showed it to anyone. We could have just built some mock-ups and storyboards and shown it to some potential customers, and they could have saved us a year of development effort. But we were afraid of the wrong things, such as someone will steal our idea rather than worrying about whether the product is even viable. By the time we got to our CAD product, we were releasing a new version every week. Our potential customers loved the quick iterations, and that was one of the things that got the attention of potential acquirers. So think about how you can get your concept quickly in the hands of potential customers in your network, even if it's just a storyboard. Purpose. In his book, Drive, Daniel Pink talks about three things that motivate us: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. You probably embarked on your entrepreneurial journey because you enjoy autonomy. So that's pretty much covered. Over time, with confident humility and a strong network, you will also gain a good grasp on your strategy, which covers mastery. But the thing that is hardest to cultivate is purpose, because that's something you really have to feel internally. Now, you could just say that your purpose is to make a lot of money and be done with it. But remember, you will probably be doing this for many, many years. So if money is your only purpose, it may not be sustainable when you see failure. When we started our journey, we weren't really interested in IT asset management. We just started it to gain autonomy and make money. But as things got hard, it became harder to keep going because we kept thinking if this was the best way to make money. When we got to the CAD product stage, we really enjoyed the technical challenge and felt that we were doing something innovative. This gave us real purpose. And suddenly we no longer cared about failure. We were just enjoying the journey. Every failure became a fun experiment to learn from. So think hard about why you're doing what you're doing. And if you'll enjoy doing this, even if there's no money at the end of it. And last but not the least, relax. Some of our best ideas came to us when we were pursuing hobbies, playing sports, or spending time with our families. So make time to take care of yourself and walk away from the work to go do something fun. Some of the most innovative ideas are inspired by other disciplines. So they take the time to develop other interests and hobbies besides your venture. You don't want to look back at your entrepreneurial journey as a long prison sentence, because after you succeed, you will want to do it again. So have fun while you're doing this. And I hope some of these ideas were useful to you. And I would love to hear how you apply these on your journey. Thank you.